Hello, Mountaineer fans, and welcome to SVC Sports Weekly. I'm Mike Nosek alongside Dave Gage. Dave, bit of a tough week for the Mountaineers last week, both on the softball and baseball fronts. We'll begin with baseball. Unfortunately, lost 7 games last week, and it's crunch time. The team's trying to make up a lot of games that were postponed or rescheduled. And again, a lot of close games, something that we've seen throughout the course of the season with this team. Losing to very good Danny Webster team 4-3. Losing to Leslie 10-8. And again, it's just, I think the Mountaineer fans find frustrating to see those close results and think what went wrong and what could have happened to get the favorable result.
Absolutely. I think, you look at this, and in 5 of the games, it's a combined 6 or 7 runs, losses, and it's just finding ways to win with the baseball team right now. I think it's something that we've saw throughout the year in many of our sports. There's so many freshmen and sophomores on so many different teams, and although no coach would ever use that excuse, but sometimes these guys got to find ways to win, and especially when you're on that losing streak, you find ways to lose when you're losing, and winning teams find ways to win, and it was just one of those weeks for the baseball team.
And then the Mountaineers were swept by Elms College over the weekend, 2 at Elms on Saturday, and then they came back and lost 7-6 in extra innings on Sunday. A game where both teams went back and forth trading runs, and then towards the end of the game, there's a lot of zeros up on the board. Elms scores 1 in the top of the 9th. The Mountaineers respond with 1 in the bottom of the 9th. Elms comes back with 1 in the 10th. Mountaineers get 2 on in the bottom of the inning. Unfortunately, weren't able to push one across. So again, and like you said, with many of the teams throughout this year, just so close and just need to find that one thing to really pick up the difference between a win and a loss.
Yeah, and you talk about, go to Sunday's game here real quick with Elms, and in the 9th inning, runner on second, 2 outs, Jared Hagan hits a swinging bunt that is a bang-bang play at first. If he's called safe, the guy from second probably scores, and the Mountaineers win 7-6 in 9 innings on a walk-off, and maybe that's the break that they get that helps them make a little bit of a run at the end of the season. Instead, he's called out. We go to the 10th. Like you said, Elms gets a run. In the bottom of the 10th, runners on first and second. Corey Armstrong hits a line drive to right field that if it's a couple inches more to the right, the guy from first probably scores. The Mountaineers win that way. It's just one of those things, is as I said, the breaks just didn't happen this week. And in a college baseball season, if you have a bad week, your season it plummets real quickly.
Yeah, staying on that Sunday game against Elms real quick, I think we have to mention RJ Pinjator and probably the toughest RBI he'll ever get with the bases loaded, getting, I wouldn't say it was plunked, the ball, came inside, real chin music, almost literally. It ended up being nose music, grazed off the brim of his helmet and actually hit his nose. And the athletic training staff was out there. I think they didn't really want him to play, but the resilient kid, that maybe stubborn might be a good word to use for RJ, picked up his self and ran down to first and said, "I forgot my helmet. Can someone bring it to me?" and kind of refused to leave the game.
Yeah.
And again, with the bases loaded, that brought across a run. So it's great to see that the guys still had that kind of toughness and that drive, even despite losing.
Yeah, I think, and that's one of those things is you look at the baseball program, and there's so many positives because that's a freshman that bought into the program. The baseball team, the program is to get hit by pitches no matter what. And he's a kid that, like you said, put his nose in front of the ball. He's walking around today, and I can't even understand half the words he says because I don't know if his nose is broke or not. But, it's a freshman buying into the program, and a lot of good things to come for the baseball team and the baseball program in the next few years.
Final note real quick here on the baseball side. Freshman left-handed pitcher Zach Milton, I think we've mentioned on the program before. He started in the 2-1 loss at Elms. Pitched great. Gave up just 1 earned run on 3 hits and 4 walks in 6.2 innings of work. Unfortunately, didn't get the run support behind him. But again, it's good to see those kind of things coming through the system. And I think this will be a pitcher that those conference teams are going to end up fearing in the next couple of years down the road.
Absolutely.
Going over to the softball side, Again, unfavorable results. The team had 3 conference doubleheaders last week. First against Leslie University, 4-time defending conference champions, and they pretty much showed why they're champions. They ran the bases well. They played the situational game when needed to, and Leslie won both of those games back on Monday, 8-1, and then 9-0. And then the Mountaineers took on Newberry College back on this past Saturday at home, and really, really tough, heartbreaking loss. The team was up 2-1 going into the 7th, and Newberry was able to push 3 across to go up 4-2, and then Southern Vermont got 1 back in the bottom of the inning to make it 4-3, but unfortunately couldn't tie it. And again, going into the last inning with the lead, and I think the hopes were high, and unfortunately Newberry, and an experienced team that the Nighthawks are, was able to find the pieces to come out with the win there.
Yeah, and talking real quickly here on the softball side about Leslie, you said it. They showed why they were champions. Execution. And same thing on the baseball side when they played Daniel Webster this week. They were champions last year. Why? Because of execution. And then Newberry College is just, it's one of those things when you're losing, somehow you find ways to lose. And other teams, when they're winning, they find ways to win. And that was sort of just the entire week with the softball team. Close games. They played well at times. And the tough thing about baseball and softball is you can win every inning besides one. And you can outplay a team for every inning besides one. And if that one inning is bad.
I mean, you're absolutely right. And we see the second game, Newberry carry the momentum from that 7th inning and just come out ripping the ball. They won that game 12-1. And I heard the Nighthawk coach in between games say something to the effect of, I told my team and asked them, when are we going to wake up? When are we going to get off the bus? And I think it's that when you have a team in that situation, you need to take advantage, and you need to put up more than just 2 runs to put yourself in a situation that they can't win with 3 runs in the 7th.
Yeah, and when your team is down, you got to take advantage of it, and that's one thing. Right now, I think like you said, in with softball, they were up in that game, and instead of letting the team stick around, if they go ahead 6-1 or 7-1 early, I wasn't there, so I don't know what kind of breaks that they maybe could have got. That game's out of hand. Now you go into the second game. Maybe you win the second game 12-1, and now you're talking about, hey, what do we need to do to make the playoffs this week? Instead of saying, well, hopefully a lot of things happen and we somehow make the playoffs.
Then the team went to Mitchell back on Sunday and lost 8-6 in the first one, and then 10-0 in 5 innings in Game 2. Unfortunately, Game 1, if you look at the box score, a glaring number is 10 errors. And despite making 10 errors, they still were very close and very competitive within that game. Unfortunately, again, the Mariners found a way to win and kind of put the Mountaineers out of playoff contention, unfortunately. And now all they can do is play spoiler to Regis College, which they host this Saturday at Willow Park with 11 and 1 p.m. game times. And baseball. We forgot to mention their schedule this week. They are at Daniel Webster on Tuesday for the rubber match of that series, and then they go to Wesleyan University on Wednesday. And then wrap up the season schedule and the conference schedule with the 3-game series against Mitchell College here at home. 2 games on Saturday starting at 12 p.m. and then the single on Sunday. And Saturday the Mountaineers will be celebrating their senior day. So we hope to see you all at Bill Epstein Field and or Willow Park for those games. Last minute quick note here on softball. Shelby Jones had a great week for the Mountaineers despite all the losses. She hit .462, including a 3-for-3 performance in the first game against Newberry College. So that's great to see that Shelby, an all NECC member last year, is really starting to pick up things as of late in these last few weeks and carry that game in and game out. One final athletics news piece that we must mention here on SVC Sports Weekly. A really great, event or great idea by the women's cross country team, or rather 2 members from the team there. They went down to Pownell, just over the border of Bennington, and helped with the Girls on the Run program, which is an organization that helps young girls and realize that inner beauty is really important and help give them self-confidence and gain that through running. And it's great to see, head coach Maria Stuber getting her girls active in those kind of things.
Yeah, that's great. It's one thing about being a student athlete at the college level, and especially Division III level, is you're such a role model to younger kids, and they don't care if you're the NBA MVP or just an athlete. You mean so much to them, to those younger kids, and it's something that I think at our school we do a really good job of getting our athletes out to those younger kids, and great job by the cross country team.
Absolutely. Stick around here on SVC Sports Weekly, as in just a minute we will be interviewing new men's basketball head coach Dan Engelstad. We're going to pick his brain a little bit here as he is in the meat of his recruiting season, and you'll be able to hear from him in just a few seconds. Welcome back to SVC Sports Weekly, Mountaineer fans. We are alongside new head basketball coach Dan Engelstad. Dan, welcome to the program, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Really, really excited to be here.
You've been working here for a few weeks, and I know already you've been, really busy. On the phone, it seems constantly. You always got that thing up to your ear, doing a lot of hard work. How have things been going for you so far?
So far, the transition's been great. Really excited about the future of our program. As you said, just kind of hit the ground running. I've been on the phone nonstop trying to call recruits and also talking with our guys. I've had a really good couple meetings with our guys and told them what to expect about the future of our program and the direction it's headed. And they've been really good so far, and really excited for the future.
That's good. It's good to hear. Now, how do you think they're going to be able to adjust to the style of play that you want to run?
Right. Ideally, I'd love to play fast. I think this is a place where you can get guys in that can fit that style, as well as I like the guys that are here in place right now. So that's the goal. I'd like to play up tempo, but to do that, guys need to be in incredible shape. They need to be in the weight room. They got to get stronger. They got to get bigger. They got to get faster. So they understand what I expect for them next year. And it's on them to put in the hard work to get there and be ready for what's in store.
Now, for the fans who haven't had a chance to read your bio here, or your resume, if you will, you come from Division I Holy Cross. What kind of differences do you see between the Division I and the Division III games?
Right. Well, first off, I played the Division III games, so I have an understanding of what that takes. I played 4 years at St. Mary's College of Maryland. And, getting into the coaching, I got a great break early on in my career and was able to work for Milan Brown at Mount St. Mary's before Holy Cross. And so coaching, that's kind of the only thing that I've known is the Division I game. So I'm getting used to some of the differences at the Division III game. Some of the rules have changed. But for the most part, at the same time, everyone's looking to try to compete for championships, and that's what you get to do on this level. And, it's been interesting to see the amount of excitement that our guys have towards the game, and I think that's similar to what I've seen at the other levels too. Just a desire to play basketball and compete at the highest level that you can.
Talk real quick about the difference between being an assistant coach and now being a head coach. It's your program now. How has it been so far as just being the head guy, the guy?
Yeah, so far so great. It was great when I walked out of the school after they offered me the position. I immediately felt the weight of 15 guys. It's a little different when you are the head guy. You lose a little bit more sleep. There's a lot more responsibility on your shoulders, but I've embraced it and I've come to love it. I wake up every morning just energized and ready for the challenges that are ahead. And I know that with being a head coach, it's a lot of responsibility, and essentially you have 15 or as many guys that I decide to keep looking up to you and looking for the answers. So I take that responsibility very, very. That's important to me. So I want to make sure that I have their best interest at heart. And but yeah, it's been a welcome change for sure.
Talk a little bit, going back to the style of play and stuff. Are the fans going to see a little more man-to-man, zone, or don't you want to give away any tips too early here?
I don't want to give away too many tips, especially because we're opening up the season with our neighbors 20 minutes down the road at Williams. So, I definitely want to keep some stuff in the pocket, but I want it to be an entertaining style of basketball. I also want people to come to the gym and to know that we are going to compete our butt off. I want people to know, I want them to say when they walk out of the gym that these guys really, really get after it on the defensive end. They're communicating, we're doing all the right stuff. I want them to see a very together unit. If there's a loose ball on the floor, I want our guys diving for the ball, but I want all of our guys also running to that guy who dove on the floor. So I just want everyone to know that we are really together, a real tight unit. I want to build it into a family-type atmosphere. And so that's what I think you can expect for sure year one. I'm not going to give away too many of the X's and O's because that's still in the process of being developed, but it's going to be an exciting time.
Now, when a new coach comes in, a lot of time people throw around the word rebuilding. Do you think this program has any rebuilding to do, or are you going to pick up where it left off and continue that way?
Right. Well, I'm excited with some of the pieces that are here right now, and so I want those guys to be kind of lay the foundation of how I want to build my program. Anytime there's change, you have to run the program the way that you view the program should be. So it's great that we have our athletic director, Mike McDonough, who's been part of the program, been through some successful years. I know the program's had some tough times as of late, but he's a great coach and great mind, so I can lean on him so I can build on things that he's done in the past, as well as I reached out to former coaches. I talked to Coach Ryan Marks before I took the job, and then I've talked to him a couple times afterwards because I know he was very successful here. And so I want to the one thing I say is I'm not trying to create history because it's already happened. So all I have to do is recreate it, but at the same time, I have to be a coach where my philosophy is stands out with our guys and make sure that they know that this is how the program's run and what I expect.
Now, feel free to answer no if you want to, or shy away from the question at all. Might kind of put you on the spot here. What are your expectations for this year? Is it 500 record? Is it conference playoffs, conference championship, NCAA championship?
Right. Well, the thing that first comes to mind is I want to be competitive every day in practice and every day we get better. I don't want to put a number out there, but the one thing I told our guys is I'm not coming here to finish 500. I want to win championships. I want to put banners up, and we're going to put that work in. And the one thing that's going to come from this program is going to be hard work. So at the end of the day, at least we're looking around if we do fall short, where we can look at each other and know that we put all the work necessary in to get to that point. So I'm not going to put a record on it. I want to see improvement day to day. And, I told our guys, let's set the bar high, and I want to win championships. So that's what I'm here to do. And no reason why year one's going to be any different than year 3 or 4.
Now, what do you think your toughest task is going to be? I mean, let's face it, you are taking over a team that did struggle a little bit wins and loss-wise this year, but there is a lot of talent on the team, as you've already alluded to. What do you think your toughest task is going to be going into year one?
One thing that I wanted to make sure with this group is I need complete buy-in. I need buy-in from the younger guys. I need buy-in from the older guys. Like I said, I want to build a program that is about family, that everyone is for it in each other. I want to make sure that if there are issues that come up throughout the course of the season, we can communicate them with each other. So I know that we have our work cut out, but I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page and headed in this thing together. So that's going to be one of the main things that I look to try to do here with this group.
How familiar are you with the New England Collegiate Conference, and how do you expect to match up against those kind of teams?
Right. Not as familiar as I will be by the end of the summer. I have all the game film. As you saw today, just got my TV put in the office, so I will be watching film religiously, especially into the summer. Already started to put together the scout of Williams. So but it's something that we're going to do a lot of. Film is a big part of it. The preparation is a big part. So I'm learning the league right now. I just put the Elms game on. It was the first game that I popped in from the league because obviously to go be the best, you got to beat the best. And so they're on top of the throne right now. And there's different styles in the league. I know some of the coaches that are in the league. I know Daniel Webster has a Princeton background from his days at Dartmouth as well. So there are certain styles that we got to prepare for. But the thing about our league, which is a little bit different, is it's more about your own style and more about your own program. Because anytime you play 3 games in a week, the game preparation for the opponent isn't as important as the game prep for yourself. So we will make sure that we go over the opponent and take a look at what everyone does, but at the same time, we're going to be really prepared on what we're trying to do and what the game plan is for each game.
Sounds good. And again, Coach, thank you for joining us today. And I know Mountaineer fans everywhere are looking forward to Midnight Madness in October, and then, as you mentioned, that first game down at Williams in the tip-off tournament there. So good luck with all of your recruiting and your off-season, and we'll be catching you in the fall.
Thanks, fellas. Really appreciate it.
We hope to catch you all again next week on SVC Sports Weekly. Thanks again for joining us, and go Mountaineers!